So I do recommend if you are going to speak on your TikToks and you want to be talking, that you think of it as one person. I think
Yeah.
that's mainly why I've had such warmth back on my TikToks, because I literally look at my phone as if it's like my imaginary friend. And I'm like, come here, let me show you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Win the Hour, Win the Day podcast. And I am your lucky host, Chris Ward. And today we have a super special guest in the house. Oh my heavens. Helen Polise is the bomb. And you know what? If you're not on TikTok, you probably don't know her yet, but you got to go over there, because I'm going to welcome her to the show in a minute, but hold on, stick with me. I know I thought TikTok was all about dancing and whatnot. It's not like that anymore. It really has changed the game, and it really has changed how I see all the other platforms and how I create messaging. And a big part of that is when I tripped across this spectacular content creator, Helen. Helen, welcome to the show.
Hi, I feel welcome. Thank you for having me.
Helen, I want to dive right in. I want to say you have a spectacular gift at explaining things to people. And really what I felt like as if I walked into a room and you were just there waiting for me. And I'm walking by and like, hey, we were waiting for you. Come on over here. I got some stuff to show you. Right. And I felt instantly like I knew you, and you made learning fun, especially when that can be really, I don't know, labor intensive when you're on a new platform, right?
But you do overwhelming.
And your how-tos are so dynamic and interesting and effective. You're a spectacular teacher, but you really have made me see making all content totally different now. Like now how I see any content that I produce on any platform, I see it differently from what I've learned from you in such a short period of time. So let me stop talking, and you're going to talk to us about, at the end of the show, she's really doing some spectacular stuff. You guys want to cash in on this opportunity and get to know her. But let's start with TikTok. All right. Why should I be on TikTok? What are some mistakes people are making? What do they not know? All that kind of stuff.
Okay. So first off, I started on TikTok during the pandemic because my background is in production. I direct TV commercials. I've been producing for my whole career, and I just had no work. So I said, oh, how am I going to be creative during this hiatus? So I flipped the camera on myself and I started filming content, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the whole idea of being able to be creative every single day. And I learned the app. I taught myself. Everybody says, who taught you? I taught myself. I poked, I figured it out. How do I do it? And I made it happen. And then once I was able to make content, because I know the skills of editing from my career, I had to translate that into the app. And then I started to go viral. And when I got an audience, they were asking me, how did I do my TikToks? Like, you're so good at this, and quote, you're older. How did you figure this out? So,
okay, hold on. Dramatic pause. I have to give a dramatic pause. First of all, I know you said that I did not know it was that recently. So that's shocking to me, because you have exploded. So you did it in that short of time is crazy. And I also, I think it's fantastic that you talk about your production background, but really TikTok is so user-friendly. Like and the work you do is not crazy edits. So I want to say that you really, brought the game up without making it complicated. Like when you say that, you make it sound like, oh, these are highly produced videos. They're not.
No,
you do
they're very simple
job of keeping it simple.
And I love to break it down.
100%.
Simple terms.
She breaks it down. It's really simple. So even though she's got this production background, her videos don't look like that. Like, I don't mean that. I mean that as a compliment.
No, and I appreciate that, because they should not look produced. It's completely different. I don't have a cameraman and an editor like I do when I do my commercials. I just have the knowledge of how to put something together in my head, but I had to figure out how to do it with an app. So I say, okay, I'm going to tell this story of me walking to a restaurant like I did last night. So I'm going to shoot some shots of me walking. I'm going to shoot point of view shots. I'm going to shoot shots of myself. I'm going to shoot some things that I see along the way. And then I have to figure out how to string it together in this app called TikTok. So that's
okay. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. There's so many good points here already. I haven't let her finish one sentence yet. Okay. First of all, back up for a second too, because I feel the need to address this. When you keep saying you're older, you guys can check this video out on YouTube. What she means is she's not 12. There are 12-year-olds on TikTok. She has a driver's license and a mortgage, but that she's not older. So she keeps going around telling people she's older. I guess it's all perspective, but she's not older. So I feel the need to defend you there. And I never thought of just taking shots when I would be thinking, okay, I have to walk and talk. So you're just taking visual shots that you could use later.
Yeah. I just
I
shoot
never thought of
things.
that. Oh my gosh, what a
I just
takeaway.
shoot things. Oh, there's some interesting graffiti. Oh my goodness, look, somebody wrote on the sidewalk. I shoot my feet walking, and then I reveal the words on the sidewalk. Whatever it is that I see, I just kind of record. And then occasionally I flip the camera so that, it's me, and I'll shoot myself walking and, waving, or just like quick shot of me looking at the camera. It's very easy to create content if you think of it as part of your day. And you said it before that you learned this from me already, that you just document things in your life, and you will be able to put them together as content. Once you put music on things, everything, the world is a music video. Your life is a music video. Your boring life is a music video. No joke. Really?
Well, I think what that was powerful for me, I finally got it in my head that it's not about producing content. It's about documenting what I already do. And so I had given you a quick example where I walked across the street to my neighbors and I'd given them dessert. And I was talking about relationships and how I had really let that go for so many years in my business, because I would be too busy grinding it out. And I was rotating relationships instead of maintaining them. So I did a video walking across the street. Okay, this all sounds like danger, but I live in the country. We're fine. There was no cars. But anyhow, so I did the video and I thought, look at me, I'm all that in a bag of chips, because I'm now starting to look at everything as opportunity.
Yes.
But I thought when you're shooting all these videos, that would be me saying, okay, I'm now going to talk during a video, but you're just collecting stuff constantly and we'll worry about doing that later.
Yes, you don't have to talk at all,
that's
because
a huge takeaway.
Literally, think about it. TikTok's a music app. It started out as, it was named Musically before TikTok. So you can actually just, especially I tell people who don't want to be on camera even, you can shoot point of view things and create a music video out of something. Shoot your garden, you're growing things in your garden. You shoot shots of things you're planting, and you can make a whole, like, here's how to build a garden video without ever being in it. So anything can be content if you have a passion for whatever it is that you're doing. And that's what I love about how I ended up here as the teacher, because I was making videos and then I suddenly found myself at parties, or at parties, virtual parties at that point, talking about, oh my God, people are asking me, how did I make those videos? And I'm like, I don't know. I just like put them together to music. And then I would get so excited to explain to them how to do it. And I realized this is what I need to do. I need to teach people how to do this, because I have this knowledge that I collected during this period of time learning TikTok, and I wanted to share it, and I love it. And I think this is really a very good point to note. There's a lot of people who know what to do on TikTok already. And people come into my comments and they say, I know how to do every single thing, but I watch your videos all the way through because I love how you explain it. They already know how to do the things that I'm explaining, yet they're watching my videos all the way through. I get these comments all the time. Why are they watching my videos? And they'll say, you're engaging. It's the way you explain it. I feel like it's a warm hug. I feel like I just got to explain something too. And a lot of them say by my mom, and I don't mind, because this is a teenage app, and there's 20-year-olds on the app, and my children are, in their 20s. So I know I'm saying older, but I mean, I'm older than a teenager. I'm not a 16-year-old. But because of that, I think I stood out to many people. I was relatable. Somebody came on the app, Jenny Hutt had me on her show, and she said, oh my God, I saw you. And I thought, she's like me and she knows how to do this. This is so awesome. So that's the part of it, I think, that I love the most, is that I'm empowering people who might think it's too late to do this, or I'm too old to do this, or I can't be on camera because of this, that, and the other thing about me. So
you do make it very freeing, because, and I think what you're doing is explaining is, like, back to your other point, there's so many points here, is that when, I could be taking a picture, let's say I'm walking on the trail, and I could use that video where I could then, it's not even about just the music video, but I could put text on top of that saying, because one of the things we do is when you work with us, my clients all say they get 25 hours back a week within the first month of working with us. So where do you spend your 25 hours could be in the text and the overlay while you're just walking on the trail. You're right. So I think it is very freeing in the way that you show us to do a lot of content, but also your ability to teach. So help me God, when I'm telling you a week of watching your videos, that I had this false sense of, like, she's my friend, she knows me. Now, we had not had any conversation then, but I was expecting, when I reached out for you to be on the podcast. And, the funny thing is, she's so good at following up when you make comments. She's like, yeah, Chris. And I'm like, see, she does know me. Because I think when I'm watching you, you're watching me, because you do this great job. But I think to your bigger point is, and this is something we all need to hear as small business owners, entrepreneurs, you didn't reinvent the wheel, but I heard an example one time where they talked about why open another pizza joint, because you know what? You have special sauce. So your special sauce,
yes.
Yeah. So that's
My
your special
sauce is my way of teaching, and my
Yeah.
stylist, nobody does
Yeah.
the stylist, but I realize that now, because this is a really funny thing, and this is going to be very relevant to your audience, I think. About a week ago, I started posting tutorials on Facebook Reels, not
Okay.
TikTok tutorials. I posted Instagram, because Instagram and Facebook are kind of hand in hand. And I know a lot of
Right.
people went from Facebook to Instagram and they were like, I don't know what to do with Instagram. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start posting some Instagram Reels tutorials, which I was doing already, and I'll put them on Facebook. And in 1 week, I have 5,000 followers on Facebook, on that Facebook page, in 1 week.
Oh
I'm
my
not kidding. I
God.
had like 40 followers on this Facebook page, because it was like my place where I was going to teach on Facebook. And now I have 5,000 in 1 week, because I posted tutorials, and there's tons of people doing tutorials. Why are they following me? So I do have a special sauce. And I
Yes.
have to embrace that about myself. Like, it's almost like, no, I don't. I'm fine. There's plenty of people that can explain it. Not really.
Yeah. And then, but the other thing, this is really just a show. We'll talk about how wonderful you are. We'll get into the content in the next show. But the other thing too, though, is you do keep reminding us, like, don't quit. Like we're not going to get those numbers in a week. That is your special sauce. So you keep reminding us, like, build on the platform. And that's something for me in the past where I always just sort of, I call myself a recovering rushaholic. I rush in and go, okay, yeah, this doesn't work. Let's move on to the next thing. I don't like it. Right. But it is building a community. It does take some time. And you're very encouraging about that as well.
And I will say that it's important to all your listeners is reverse engagement. This isn't a one-way street. Like, I don't think, oh, everybody's following me, I'm not going to follow anybody back. No, I follow people back that I'm interested, whose content I'm interested in. I want to curate my own content, so it's things I want to see. And also, and I can't follow 500,000 people back, obviously, that'd be ridiculous. But at the same time, engaging with people, I do pay attention to the comments. I spend a lot of time answering comments. I try, people that always come back and leave me comments, I make sure to get to them first, because they're so kind to always leave me comments. And I think that is such a very underrated thing that people don't talk about. And a lot of big creators just are like, I'm all that. I don't want to be that. I want to be like, I am your friend, and I want to make sure that I'm giving back as much as I can. I can't give back to every single comment. It's not possible physically, but I do really try my best. And I think engagement with your audience, no matter what you're doing, make your audience feel special.
Well, you definitely do that. Okay. So let me get out of your way. Tell us why we should be there, and what are the biggest mistakes or the biggest things that we could do that really up our game.
Okay, so specifically, why to be on TikTok or social media in general? Because I think you want to find.
Let's go with TikTok. Well, I guess let's go with TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is why I love TikTok most of all. Because my thing is, if I'm doing one thing, if I had to pick one thing, I would just do TikTok. If I really had to, it was push came to shove. Because endlessly creative, endless learning, like this whole, I just wrote a blog piece, 6 reasons I love TikTok. And just the daily inspiration from other people, the idea that you can blow up from nothing to something overnight, and it can happen to anyone. And it's just this magical, to me, it's like a magical journey. And I think that if you're in a business, it's going to be a struggle now, because everybody's waking up to realize it, and everybody's coming and saturating the platform. So it's harder to be seen, and it's harder to get that growth. You have to think a little bit more. You have to be a little more unique, and you've got to try to find your own special sauce and figure out how to communicate it, because most people cannot be themselves on camera, or they can't, they think that they have to copy someone else and they're going to be successful. And what happens is you get so caught up, and you start to overanalyze, like, I'll do it like her and then I'll be successful. No, you have to do it like you. You have to almost put blinders on and start doing it. Just start doing something, and your thing will find you. So, and Jenny Hutt's a great example. I don't know if you know her. She interviews celebrities here in New York City. So she started on the platform. She's verified, so she's a celebrity personality. But she had a small following, and she started following me. And she said, I don't know, why am I so lost on this platform? And she had me on her show and asked me this question. And I said, you just need to post every day something different until something will feel right. It'll feel like, that shoe fits. And then that's the day that you'll wake up. I posted for a year, baking videos, dancing videos, making sure how to put a duvet cover on in my bedroom, how to clean my refrigerator. I had fun. I had some viral videos, but I didn't for a year know that I was supposed to be the TikTok teacher.
Oh, that's that's good for us to know.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So think about that. I mean, I had a following of 30,000, and then it went up to 70,000, but I was not the TikTok teacher, and I didn't have this niche at all. So you can find your way, and then in a year. So don't think about what's my niche going to be today or what's my vibe going to be today. Just start doing something. And once you start doing one thing, and then you'll see and you'll get inspired by the next thing. And then you try something else. And then one day you'll say, oh, this really fits. This really feels right to me. And then you'll find your place. It's really,
I think TikTok. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Go ahead.
no, it happened to Jenny because she did that. She started doing things, and her passion is about that she kept her weight off. She lost 70 pounds over 10 years ago, and she's managed to keep her weight off. She wasn't one of those yo-yo dieters. So she just one day did, here's what I eat in a day. And she just filmed herself eating every, bite of every meal. And that's what she does now that's her niche content. So that's what she does. But she didn't know that was going to be it. She talks about her family. She posted things about all this other stuff, but she found her way because she posted one video and she realized this is what I'm passionate about. And that's what she wants to talk about on her page. So everybody can find a place. You just don't know. You don't know day one what it's going to be.
Okay, so let me jump in here.
Go ahead.
Because I have conflicting thoughts. One is I do think that TikTok rewards the real, like what I call the real and the raw. And the first few videos I did, I showed up, frankly, like a fool, shoulders back, doing a YouTube presentation. Hey, on this, like whatever. And I'm like, oh, but TikTok tells you not to, don't even delete them, leave them there. That's fine. Yep. But I was coming from a talking at you, a presenting thing, like you had invited me on your stage and I'm on YouTube. So that did not work. But so I do find that you can mess around and they're very forgiving there because they want to see the real stuff. But with Jenny, if her niche is talking about keeping the weight off, but that's not her job. So that's a big disconnect for me.
She uses her platform. She's using her TikTok platform to create her own audience that has nothing, because as a personality, she has a show where she interviews celebrities. That's her thing.
Okay. So
her show is like, so she really doesn't need to now find a business on
I gotcha.
a TikTok. Okay. She's not looking to do that. So for her, it was like experimental. For a business, let's say I'm going to pick a business, let's say real estate for the heck of it. So you're a real
But that is leaning into her business because really she is a personality.
Sure.
So that's okay. So I get it now. That makes sense to me. So it's not a disconnect. All right.
No, it's not a disconnect.
I got it. So no
but
problem.
Somebody else with a business, what you want to do is, let's say you say, all right, I know I'm a real estate agent and I know something specific. So maybe your audience knows what they want to do on TikTok. They just don't know how to go about it. So my recommendation, for example, would be think about what you feel most comfortable doing as one type of content where you feature yourself. So maybe it's you're doing a house tour and you're showing bits of yourself doing a house tour. Okay. Then the next day you're doing like a real estate tip. So you're saying, let's see, whatever that tip is. So you have like tips. So you have a showing, you have tips, and then maybe you have a trend that you do that, because you got to capitalize on those trends. You have to sprinkle them in. They shouldn't be your only content, but I would use them to get in front of more people, because TikTok is pushing out those trends. So you'll find more of your audience if you do a trend, but you spin it about real estate. So if it's a boyfriend-girlfriend trend going on where it's like, oh, she feels dissed by her boyfriend or whatever the heck. So you feel dissed by this house because it's not really a right fit for you. Or you say, what you love about your boyfriend is what you love about your house, or what you love about your real estate job. So you put it into, I always spin the things into like why I love being a TikTok teacher. So it always turns around to why I love showing people how to TikTok. And every time I see a trend, I think, how can I work this trend in my lane?
Okay. So I was ignoring the trends at first. So, because I thought, well, I'm not here to play, but there was one trend where it was like, I don't know, 2 seconds of you, and then you dance to this song and it turns into this blurry color thing, like a clown almost. And I said, something like, that's what it feels like when your team manages you and you've got freedom. Yes. I worded it better.
That is perfect.
Okay. But I followed that. So we should be leaning into the trends.
You should do that. And the thing is, I always say, make 25% of your content trends. I mean, just roughly, you could say 30%, but once in a while, look at the trends and say, oh, would this one work for me? And some of them won't work, and you won't figure out how to use it. I was laughing because it was that one butterfly in the sky. It was the planets. It was going around for a while. Yeah. It was planets floating. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to use this trend for? It was supposed to be something that stumps you, Okay. And I can't be like the TikTok teacher thinking about how to do a tutorial. Maybe that could have been it. But I suddenly realized I'm the mothership and I'm in space. So I don't even need to have so I did that thing and I was like thinking about this trend and realizing I'm the mothership. I don't need to make a plan because I'm flying out with the planets. You can do it, whatever. You just want to do it so that it speaks to your it speaks to your audience, so that you might
Okay.
find another real estate agent might find it funny, or somebody buying a house might
Mm.
find that relatable and funny. And then they'll check out your page, and then they may follow you. So you use the trends to get in front of new people, and you use them
Okay.
in such a way that they understand what your page is about. So then they might come over and see.
Okay,
That's
so
what I
you're allowed
recommend.
to get messy here. It's more forgiving platform, I
Mhm.
find, and you're allowed to get messy. Now, can I go back for a minute and just ask you, I don't know if this is too complicated of a question, but when you record all that footage of walking or doing this and that,
Mhm.
do you have a way of, or my brain goes to organizing that, or do you just use it, I'm overthinking, you just use it sooner than later?
I put it in folders on my phone. So if I do one
Okay.
day and I know I'm not going to edit it right away, I'm
Yeah.
doing a series right now on doors of New York City. And so every day when I'm out, I take a video of these like doors that I find, because there's so many cool doors.
Oh,
And so now I just put them all in the doors folder. So the day that I have enough door content, when I go to edit, I can just go into the folder on my phone where all those doors videos of all the New York City doors are stored, and I can make a video out of it. And I will use an editing app to do it, or I'll use Instagram Reels, because that has a much more easy to work with editing interface. The TikTok one
okay.
is the most difficult to edit in, because it doesn't allow you to edit to the music. It just,
Right.
you can just throw them in, and sometimes it does it automatically for you. It's not the best editing interface. So then I
Okay, so
use an
along
app.
those lines, I could do something like you take, this is a bad example, but similar, where covers of books, and it could do a reel of these are the
Mhm.
books I read from business this month, right? Where you're
Absolutely.
doing
Yeah.
doors. Okay. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Your
Yeah,
brainchild.
so many
Okay.
ideas. I am like a walking like container of ideas, which is gets a little, it gets a little, that's why I lay at night and I'm like, oh, I have another idea. I better write it down right now. But one thing I did want to circle back, because you were talking
Sure.
about this before when you were presenting in your TikToks. So I do recommend, if you are going to speak on your TikToks and you want to be talking, that you think of it as one person. I think
Yeah.
that I think that's mainly why I've had such warmth back on my TikToks, because I literally look at my phone as if it's like my imaginary friend. And I'm like,
Mm.
come here, let me show you. Here's how you do it. No,
Yeah.
I'm not like, here is how we do the TikTok. No, I'm like, okay, let me tell you, this one's a little challenging, but we're going to try it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to do it with you
Right.
right now. And I'm going to be not so perfect doing it. And I kind of just show sometimes I'm like, oh, let's put my hair up for this one. And then I'm like, oh my God, what a bad angle. But I shoot it anyway, because
Right.
this is it.
No, that's
So
a
it's
really good
like
point. And I think I have
one
brought down
person.
my presenting considerable, but I think a considerable amount, but I do think the camera's on and I'm still have a stronger voice than I probably would if I was just talking to you and you're sitting beside me. Right. So I think that's a
Yes.
really good point, because that is
One
part of your
person.
inviting nature. It's not even one person, but one person, I don't know, that you're not trying to convince of something.
No, no, I'm
Right.
not. I'm just
Yeah.
like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is crazy. I'm giving this some thought now. Should I do it this
Okay.
way? Like literally sometimes when I do I put my outtakes out there. Sometimes I don't know if you've ever seen any of those, but I'll do one string of content and I'll say, okay, this is the bloopers, because I want to show people how challenging it is to shoot tutorials. It's not as seamless. When I edit it, it looks
Oh,
perfectly, but sometimes I'm like, oh my God, how many times do I have to press this? And it won't press because I'm doing it in reverse, because I'm holding the phone this way and I'm trying to
right.
so it's funny. I'm like, click the check mark, click the check mark. What I mean?
Oh
'Cause
my gosh.
so I have a good time doing it, and I laugh at myself when I make the mistakes, and I just feel like that's part of, if you let yourself make mistakes, that's when you'll be able to let your guard down. And you don't have to,
Okay.
you can always know, you can edit out the mistakes, but it's just about, if you let yourself make the mistakes, then you'll become a real person to yourself
Okay.
when you're recording. It's
Okay.
a
All
lot
right.
easier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Tell us more, my wise
It's a
friend.
lot easier. It's like I'm recording something and I'm saying, here's how I do the thing. And then I go, is it really how I do it? Wait, let me think. Did I do that right? And I just kind of talk to myself, because then I start to become
Right.
myself. And I'm like, oh wait,
Right.
no, I have a better way I can explain that. You know what we're gonna do instead? I'm gonna show you how to da da da. Like, and then it's as if I talk to myself, then I'm actually more natural. So you can think about it as one person. You can think about it like you're talking to yourself. You can maybe it's just,
Yeah.
maybe I'm
I
the only
think that
crazy one,
talking to yourself thing is really helpful, because you do, I
right?
think, I mean, I've gotten much more liberal. Like the other day, because I have a cold, and I did one laying down on the couch saying, you know what, this is something that I had to really learn in my business is, no matter how sick I was, I would show up because I was building a business. And, I had this
Mm,
grinded out mentality. So I did one on the couch saying, you know what, for me to take my foot off the gas was something it took me like 10 years to
Ah,
learn, that I was just skimming over stuff, not getting real depth into anything I was doing when I was just rushing and grinding it out all the
yeah.
time. However, I would have never, ever done that video before, laying on a couch with a cold, ever, not in a million years.
No.
But I still think then I start to explain the beginning, middle of like why it's really important to have systems and processes in your business when I should have just made it a shorter, like
Yeah.
I don't then need to explain the value in it. Like I still think there's a presentation mode in there somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I think there's an interesting thing you said earlier that relates here. I think we all love storytelling, or we all love to know stories or hear stories. So whether you tell stories through video, through music and visuals, through text, like a story to someone becomes more engaging. Because
Yeah.
I have had a video way out of my lane, because I usually do, as you know, tutorials. I get a lot of views. My family stuff, this and that, whatever. I do that for my own self and for fun. I do my dancey things. And one day I went to, it was another time I was going to a restaurant, and I was like, I'm going to surprise my follower. They follow me and they always comment on my videos. I'm going to go visit this restaurant in New York City. And I talked to the camera on the way, which I don't always do. I'm like, we're going to go visit John's of 12th Street because they always comment on my videos. And I'm walking, and that video exploded. And it was literally just a story of how I went there and it was closed. And I was like, oh my God, it's closed. I can't believe it. I just recorded the whole thing, as like, never knew it was going to be a TikTok at the time. I just thought, I'm just going to document this because let's see what happens when I go and visit a follower. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it's closed. And then I'm like, wait, I think there's somebody in there. And I'm talking to myself and I'm with the camera and I'm like, I think there's somebody in there. Oh, there is somebody in there. Oh, he's coming out. And he comes out and then he goes, Buongiorno, come in. And he invites me in. And so I get this behind the scenes tour of this restaurant. Anyway, it did go viral. But my point of this is that if you are just documenting a story of some kind, whether that's through your words, whether that's like I did last night, just going to a restaurant, it was like music and imagery. And it was just people could tell I was going somewhere. And I told a story with pictures. So storytelling is a big plus on a platform like TikTok, because they love juicy stories, they love drama, and all of that. So think about if that's what people are gravitating to. If you can manage to tell a story, you're going to have an edge.
Yeah, but I would think what I would have done is then I would have probably cut out the part where like, oh no, it didn't open. I didn't think it was open. So I took that part out. I would have wanted to make it cleaner, tighter. Like I would have processed it, like thinking that it had to be cleaner and tighter, like always on the business scope. So you're just like, listen, you're talking to your friend. Let's have a real conversation and not edit it and get as my mother calls, she says sometimes, like if she'll call me during the day or something, ask me something quick. And she'll say later, at this age in my life, I blame her. She has the same tone, but she'll say I have my work tone, like that I was efficient with her. So so really just drop all your guards and just talk to yourself and have the camera rolling.
Yes. And have fun. And it's just about having people. Don't you love to be around people who are fun? Don't you love to be around people who like love life? So if you think about that, you're going to let yourself be who you really are, and people are going to like to be around you. I mean, the real you is better than this fake you that you're going to put up on the screen, I think.
Yeah, but see, the way I always struggle when people would say be authentic, I thought, well, who's going to be inauthentic, right? And people do think I'm fun or funny, but then you think that's not the place for this here. You know what I mean? So there, I would have got confused of thinking, oh, I'm trying, I'm trying to get a message out, or I'm trying to be professional here. So I would have taken the outtakes out or not laughed at myself on camera. So I think these are really powerful things that once again, you're changing the scope of how we see this, because I mean, even if you think of something silly, like watching a celebrity or something on a talk show, the ones that are flawed or funny or tell the behind the scenes, or their kid did something, got mess all over them. Those are interesting, not the ones that have really good, recited answers about the movie. Right.
Yes. We all want to see real people. We all like enjoy real people better than we enjoy, the facade. It's just so much. It's just so much.
Call it, to be kind to those of you that are doing what I'm doing, I wouldn't even call it a facade. It's almost like I made myself veneer. Like, okay, put my shoulders back. I went to college. I went to university. I'm trying to look like a grown-up professional here. People pay attention. It's like, instead of like being the flawed, like, cause you think
you could do that on LinkedIn, Chris. You could you could be polished. There's a place for all of it. It's just that TikTok isn't. That's not what TikTok likes. TikTok
Okay.
that's not where you need to be on TikTok. On TikTok, you just need to be your raw self. Sometimes I do these tutorials, and then mostly the followers that follow me for teachings are seeing those on the For You page. They don't see and then occasionally they'll see me, I'll pop up with my family doing something where I'm pushing all the kids doing the chicky chicky dance, and I'm trying to get them all to do it right. I mean, it's kind of hilarious. And they're like, oh my God, you're such a real person. And it's funny because I think, don't they see that in the rest of my feed? But I realize they're not really seeing all of my videos. They're only seeing the ones that are getting pushed out to them. So that's the other thing you got to realize, that TikTok is not linear, and people are not seeing things in order. Like people, they have a viral video yesterday. They come back, oh, everybody, thank you for the da 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 da. I'm like, no one's seeing that. It's not connected exactly. The algorithm doesn't push it out in that order. So only potentially your most loyal followers are coming every day and looking in order. Yes, potentially.
Well,
but for
I
the
think
most
too,
part, no.
you say TikTok is different, but I really think that your messaging and the insightful comments you're making here is really powerful on all platforms and all aspect of business. So I think that TikTok is a little bit more forgiving. It's a great place to start, but I think you and TikTok have made me change how I see everything now, like how I write my copy, how I put anything out. So I think your messaging does transfer to all the other platforms, even LinkedIn.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear that, because what I'm doing, well, as you know, I'll talk about Socialize in a second. But
get to it.
No, as you know, I'm putting together a platform. It's hellosocialize.com. The business is Socialize, and it's being built to empower people of all skill levels, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, because there's always something you could learn. Even if you're an expert, you might not know about how to do a really high-end new trend that's happening, because that was out of your skill set. An expert might have 1 million followers, but never did a transition. And I have plenty of people that come to me that are like asking me questions. I'm thinking, you have 1 million followers. Why are you asking me a question? And because they don't know, they got 1 million followers from doing something else on their page. So it's like, they look like an expert, but they don't know everything. So it's really fun. But the idea of Socialize is to empower people to be able to create content and also find a community of other people who are learning. So you feel like you're not the only one. People in my comments are wonderful. They help each other. When I go on TikTok lives, they're helping each other when I can't answer all the questions in the chat. And I think this whole idea of, we're all in this together, we're all learning, everybody can help each other, we can all be successful. It doesn't have to be me versus you. It can be us together. I look at even the other people teaching tutorials. They have other styles that are good for other people. I'm not maybe for them. So we can all find a place.
Let me jump in here though. And I don't think you're putting a big enough spotlight on this. Socialize is a new platform, and it's a big deal. And you're going to be on the news even tonight for it. So it's not like, I want to be super clear. This isn't like a Facebook group or something. This is a whole new bag of chips. And you're leading this as the founder and the pioneer. And this is all because of your excellence and what you've done in such a short period of time. So this is a really big deal and opportunity to get in on the ground floor with Helen and Socialize. And that's SOCIALIZE.
Exactly. Hello, Socialize. Hellosocialize.com is the URL.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm building, what I've got going on there is a series of tutorials, as you know, in my style, and I'm pulling it all together in one place so that people will be able to find my Instagram tutorials are on the Hello Socialize Instagram. My Facebook tutorials are on the Hello Socialize Facebook page. And now I'm going to bring all the other content into the hellosocialize.com platform. And the idea is going to be that they live together in a space so that everybody can connect. There's a forum, a community forum. People can come in and ask questions. I'll be checking the forum every day and answering questions. So it's kind of like a home base for learning of all the apps.
Yeah. And I have to
the apps, which is great.
I have to interject. Your tutorials, that I think we need to come up with a softer word, because they're not like the other ones you see online. Like, you literally could be driving a car and pull over the side of the curb and you could show us in 2 seconds. Like, they're really short, really effective, really clear, and really inspiring. You're like, oh, I could do that. All right, let me go try that. So it's really, it's a fantastic resource.
It's just great because I love the idea of encouraging a larger amount of people, because everybody's trying to do it and they're all asking me. I get so many asks for, do you do private lessons? It's not, with 580,000 followers now, I can't do private lessons. I also still, direct commercials for a living. So I can't really do it. So I'm trying to figure out how to reach more people and be able to share the things that I know are easy to learn, and they can make you, and everybody can be successful at it. And some people might just want to share with friends and family. Some people might want to share because, maybe there's a grandpa who really knows how to fix every gadget, and maybe he wants to make a channel where maybe he makes a TikTok or an Instagram where he's sharing his expertise, but he doesn't know where to start. So it's the idea to empower all skill levels, all ages. This is not only for young people. This is not only for old people. This is for everybody is welcome. And I just, it happens to be me, we'll call it the mothership, teaching you, but it's like a place where everybody's welcome and everything is just positive, and we're lifting each other up. That's, I think, what's important.
Okay, you are so awesome. We should definitely have you back. What is one of, on our parting words, what's one last thing that we should really know about before we unfortunately wrap up?
Before you tackle TikTok, before you wrap up? All right. So we talked about trying to rotate your content. I think it's important to do that. It's important to remember not to think I'm in this lane, I have to do this every day, and this is what my followers are counting on. Remember that you can be a real person. You can step out, do something that makes you feel like you're in your lane, because I do my tutorials. That's my lane. You're going to do what's your lane. And then you're always going to want to have your left and right lanes, so that you can have a little fun sprinkled in. So it's not completely on this straight one path.
Okay.
Allow your audience in to the real you. This platform wants that. TikTok wants that. TikTok wants you to be who you are. I was going to say this earlier, and I didn't, because I have it open my phone because I want to show you. But when you're recording in your phone, don't look at yourself in the camera. Look up here at the. That's really important, because I'm doing it right because now I'm looking down at you, but you're really good already because you're looking into the lens, and I try to do that. You're so good. But when you're doing a TikTok, it is so important, because there's celebrities that love to look at themselves on the TikToks. They just are looking down, and that's their style. Okay. There's people that are successful doing it. Okay. But if you're a business owner and you're trying to connect with your audience, you need to engage with them. You don't need to engage down here. There is a big difference in how you're going to make them feel. Welcome them in.
It really does make eye contact. And it's hard for me, I'm looking into a camera hole, not looking at you. I can see you in my peripheral view, but when you watch this on YouTube or when you're looking at me, it looks like I'm looking right into your eyes.
Yes.
And that does have a powerful movement on the other side. So see,
really
I thought
does.
if I kept her long enough, she'd be able to see I did something right on TikTok.
You did. You're doing it right now.
Yeah.
No, that is so important, because you want people to feel that you're with them. And that's the beauty of, we're one-on-one. You're alone in your house with this phone. You're not in an audience. You're not sitting in the theater listening to the person on TikTok. You're in your home. So the person doesn't need to shout at you. They're not presenting to you. They're talking to you. And that's just powerful, that you actually have the ability to talk to millions of people all over the world. It's incredible. Really.
Yeah. Okay. And
there's nothing like
this is our last point. I do notice on your videos, which is a really good point, is that my style is I'll do the editing and CapCut with the language. So it's a little bit more dynamic on there, but you don't even do that. You just do the caption across the bottom. That's it.
Yeah. I just keep it straight up clean. And there's a few reasons I do that, because I don't want to spend a lot of time going to different apps to caption things and then bringing them back. So I have the TikTok caption option. Do you have that option? On the side,
somebody on my team does the editing for me, so they just put it. They do it in CapCut.
They do it that way. Okay. Well, the good thing about using the features in the app is that the app recognizes it. The algorithm recognizes it. So all those words are then being put into an algorithm. So it's like, word, Instagram, beginner, tutorial. So anything that I'm saying now is recognized, and that's why people, I'm going to just say the cheat code is, if people don't want something to be recognized by the algorithm, they will title it outside the app and then bring it in, because then it's not. But when you type those captions in, if I type a caption at the top that says mirror drop tutorial, when I did that mirror drop thing where I fell through the floor, or motion warp tutorial, the algorithm knows that that's what I'm showing. And so therefore, if people are searching for that, they're going to send it to them.
Okay, so hold on. So if I do something like we did it in CapCut, although CapCut is a TikTok tool, is it? But if we do it, does that count?
If you title it in CapCut, No, it's okay.
No.
It's not wrong to do. I'm just saying.
But you're saying what you're saying is if I just use a basic transcriptions across the bottom of it, then the audio isn't being picked up in the algorithm for the keywords, keyword search. So all those words, it's like not having your videos transcribed in YouTube. So if I'm talking and I've got nice visual effects, that's great. It's interesting, but I'm missing out on just keywords going across the bottom.
Yeah, potentially,
All
it's a
right.
give and a take though. It's like something's going to hit based on content, not based on that.
Right.
That just helps you a little. That might
Okay.
be, gives you a little bit of help for the algorithm to know where to send you, because it's recognizing the words. That's why, that's how people get shut down if their content, they're using the wrong words. That's why you'll notice people in their captions will always mistype the word seggs. They won't type the word sex, right? I don't know if you've noticed that.
Okay.
They would type it seggs. When you see those misspellings, it's because they're trying to trick the algorithm into not knowing that they said that word.
Gotcha. Okay, you have been
Tricks
such a
and
treat,
tips, baby.
Yeah. I gotta watch more. Okay. It's man,
I
and when you
loved
get in
it.
this world, it's like it's like lifting a rock and you see this full enterprise of an ant colony underneath it. It is fantastic. You have been a spectacular treat.
Thank
Okay,
you.
everyone check. So we've told them about Socialize, but where can
Okay.
people find more of your brilliance?
Great. So hellosocialize.com is the spot for finding new things. Sign up, you're going to get all the information as you need it when it's posted. I also have a beginner TikTok class. So if this is your first foray into TikTok, I have in the link in my profile, which is at the mothership with a U. You'll probably include that in here somewhere.
Yes, in the
right?
show notes. Yeah.
So at the mothership, when you click there and you go to my links, you'll see a class, you'll see an email list. The class is $15. It teaches you how to set up your profile. What's the For You page? How to add text, how to make a video, how to use things in your phone to make a video, or how to shoot a video. I do the basics because when I started, I was shuffling through and trying to figure it out. And I thought, no, I have to solve this for other people. So it's a really nice beginner way to learn what TikTok is about. And then you can capitalize on it from there by watching the tutorial playlist, because then I have all the more advanced stuff there. So those are my two spots. Okay.
Fabulous. Everyone else, what a treat. Thank you so much, Helen. And everyone else, will see you in the next episode.
I loved it. Thank you for having me.